Hey gamers, when people talk about Metroidvania, one game instantly comes to mind, Hollow Knight. Its tight gameplay, haunting world, and non-stop sense of discovery have made it a modern classic. Even nearly a decade after its release, it still holds up incredibly well, but the genre didn't stop there. Over the past several years, a new wave of Metroidvania games has emerged, bringing fresh ideas, sharper combat, and worlds just as memorable. But wait, there's a brand new Metroidvania I want to show you. If you're a Metroidvania fan who loves fast combat, anime visuals, and games that actually feel polished, this gem is a must-play. Kotama and Academy Citadel is a brand new Metroidvania where you explore a mysterious academy as Kotama, an exchange student chasing the legendary Carmel star. The game combines 3D presentation with a clean and stylish 2.5D look and high-quality anime aesthetics, especially in the story scenes that give the game a lot of personality. But honestly, the real selling point here is the action. I really like how combat is built around 3 distinct weapons, similar to how modern Metroidvanias let you adapt your playstyle on the fly. The Umbrella Spear, the Whip Hammer, and the Liquid Blade, they're not just for fighting enemies. Each one plays a role in movement, traversal, and solving the world itself, which makes exploration feeling fresh and engaging. Not only that, the parry and counter system feels tight and responsive, and boss fights are pattern-based in a way that rewards skill, not button mashing. The map design is nicely non-linear, with plenty of secrets, shortcuts, and reasons to backtrack. It really feels like a modern Metroidvania that respects your time. And yeah, this is easily a must-play Metroidvania gem if you're craving something modern, stylish, and mechanically deep. And the good news for you guys, I'm giving away 3 Steam keys. Just check the pinned comment below for details and let me know which weapon or mechanic caught your eye. And the winners will be chosen 7 days after this video is posted, okay? So yeah, what are you waiting for? Go check out Kotama and Academy Citadel by clicking my link in the description below and experience this amazing Metroidvania gem that will blow your mind. Alright then, let's get back into the list. Starting at number 15, Biomorph. Biomorph is a dark Metroidvania developed by Lucid Dream Studio. And in this game, you play as Harlow, who wakes up with amnesia, no idea where he is or what's going on. All you know, he's got 2 AI robots attached to his arms. One acts like a know-it-all, the other is kind of an idiot, and both of them never stop talking. So yeah, get ready to have constant conversations with your own hands. At this point, Harlow's only goal is to save Cleo, hoping that doing so will uncover the truth about his past. Combat is split into 2 main systems, chips and biomorphs. Chips work similarly to the spirit system in Ender Lilies. You have 3 attack buttons, and each one can be customized with different chips, ranging from offensive attacks and shields to various special skills. Some chips have limited uses, while others can be used infinitely. And biomorphs are the game's core gimmick. After defeating certain enemies, you gain the ability to transform into them. And not only that, these transformations aren't just for combat. They're also essential for exploration, helping you overcome obstacles and access new areas. Overall, I'd say this game is really solid and an easy recommendation for any Metroidvania fans. Aeterna Noctis tells a dark, mythic story about eternal conflict, light versus darkness, death and rebirth. Trapped in an endless cycle, you play as the King of Darkness, cursed to fight the Queen of Light over and over until love creates a forbidden being known as the Grey Soul. Threatening the balance of the world, wanting to end this cruel cycle, the king sets out to break fate itself. At first, I avoided Aeterna Noctis because of its reputation, brutally hard platforming, and a massive 40+ hour runtime. Eventually, I gave it a fair shot. And while I enjoyed parts of it, the experience didn't fully click with me. The combat feels light and lacks impact, except for a few standout weapons. But the real star is the arrow teleport mechanic, which makes both platforming and boss fights genuinely exciting. Speaking of bosses, they're excellent, challenging, well-designed, and consistently fun. The game art direction is gorgeous, the music is epic, the world building is strong, and the story, especially the ending, lands surprisingly well. Exploration is rewarding, with tons of upgrades and secrets, even if you're often too tired to enjoy finding them. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to casual players, but hardcore fans of challenging platformers might love it. The Last Faith is a dark fantasy Metroidvania that puts a heavy emphasis on brutal combat, plenty of gore, and a decaying world filled with mutated monstrosities and touches of cosmic horror. And once again, you play as an amnesiac protagonist named Eric, trying to uncover what's happening to his body and searching for something he calls salvation. In terms of presentation and design, the game feels like a solid 2D adaptation of a From Software title, almost as if it were made by Blasphemous developer The Game Kitchen. Gameplay-wise, you're not limited to melee combat. You can also use ranged weapons like pistols with limited ammo that resets at altars, as well as magic or lost technology powered by Focus, the game's version of MP. While the class system keeps things simple, the real depth comes from the weapon variety. Axes, whips, katanas, great swords, and firearms all feature unique scaling and powerful weapon skills, letting you shape your own play style as you progress. So yeah, overall, The Last Faith delivers exactly what fans of Souls-inspired Metroidvanias want. Fun combat, addictive progression, rewarding exploration, and the atmosphere is absolutely dripping with dark fantasy energy. GRIME is one of the most unique Metroidvania games I've ever played, not just because of its mechanics, but because its world feels alive, strange, and deeply mysterious. The game throws you into a world that refuses to explain itself clearly, and that's exactly where its appeal lies. You play as Akon, a mysterious entity with a black hole for a head, suddenly born into a nightmarish surreal world. From a combat perspective, GRIME is a true Soulsvania. It features stamina management, dodging, a variety of weapons, and enemies that demand your full attention. However, the heart of its combat system is the parry. Parrying in GRIME isn't just a defensive option, it's the core of the game's combat philosophy. With precise timing, you can turn the tide of battle, and in certain situations, even shatter enemies instantly. This design makes every encounter feel aggressive, active, and incredibly satisfying once you've mastered it. That same careful design also applies to how the story is told. GRIME doesn't explain everything directly. Instead, the story is hidden in the world, the visuals, and small bits of dialogue. Behind the strange and confusing surface, the game is really about life, pain, and a world that keeps repeating the same cycle, something you understand more clearly as you spend time exploring and observing what's around you. Death's Gambit Afterlife can be seen as both a massive expansion and a complete overhaul of the original Death's Gambit. It brings fresh content, a far more cohesive world, and significant quality of life improvements to gameplay and combat. Even better, this update is completely free for owners of the original game. You play as Soren, an ordinary soldier who meets a tragic end during an expedition to find the source of immortality. Revived by death itself, he's forced into a contract. Destroy that source of eternal life, or remain its slave forever, all while secretly searching for his long-lost mother. This is my favorite part. The combat is fast, responsive, and punishing, with stamina management straight out of Dark Souls, satisfying parries, smooth dodges, and a skill tree that lets you craft truly unique builds. There's a tons of weapons and armor to collect, upgrade, craft. Legendaries feel epic. Death's forgiving. No essence lost, just grab back your healing item. Dying equals pure learning. So if you're a fan of Dark Souls, Hollow Knight, or Blasphemous, this one is an absolute must-play. The new Game Plus mode and all the extra content keep it replayable for ages. Both Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and Shinobi Art of Vengeance successfully revived their long-dormant franchises by returning to their roots. Art of Vengeance reintroduces the legendary protagonist Joe Musashi, and as the title suggests, this is a story driven by his quest for revenge. After Joe's village and the Oboro Ninja clan are destroyed by the evil paramilitary ENE Corporation, led by Lord Roos, his home is burned to the ground and his clan is turned to stone. From there, the objective is clear: hunt down Lord Roos. Along the way, you'll push through varied stages, rescue hostages, fight enemies aboard speeding trains, take down powerful bosses, and uncover hidden secrets to upgrade your abilities. Combat is so fluid and satisfying. The combos you can do with light and heavy attacks into ranged or ninjutsu are so satisfying. If you played Ragebound and you thought that it's smooth, Shinobi is much smoother. The platforming is challenging, but not impossible. It's a game worth playing if you're into those sort of games. While it's not full Metroidvania, I would describe it as an action platformer with Metroidvania elements. There are separate levels, but there is backtracking to get upgrades and complete optional challenges, but not a huge emphasis on exploration. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is an almost perfect sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest. Moon Studios successfully expands on everything that worked before without ever feeling repetitive. The world feels bigger, more alive, and far more varied. Visually, the game is absolutely stunning, with biomes that are truly distinct from one another. This is further elevated by an emotional soundtrack that dynamically shifts with the moment, enhancing both quiet exploration and high-tension sequences. The platforming is incredibly smooth and responsive, especially as new abilities like dashing, triple jumping, grappling, and burrowing are unlocked. Movement gradually becomes fluid and deeply satisfying. Combat also sees a major upgrade. Players now have access to a wide range of weapon-like abilities, both melee and ranged, which can be mixed and matched to suit different playstyles. The Spirit Shard system adds even more depth, allowing for flexible character customization through passive upgrades. And finally, the story once again stands out as the game's emotional core. Rather than a simple good versus evil tale, Will of the Wisps explores themes of loss, empathy, and the harsh reality that not everything can be saved. Metroid Dread is one of the best Metroidvania games available on the Nintendo Switch. The story is simple and easy to follow. You play as Samus Aran, who loses her powers and becomes trapped on a hostile alien planet. The objective is clear: survive, regain your abilities, and escape the planet. That brings us to the gameplay, easily the strongest part of the experience. The game is super responsive, with incredibly smooth movement and fast, aggressive combat. Samus feels buttery smooth to control. Every action is precise, and as you unlock more abilities, she becomes faster, stronger, and significantly more fun to play. As more abilities open up, the game only gets better. That said, I do feel the parry system is a bit too dominant, since many enemies can be defeated instantly without really needing to learn their attack patterns. From a technical standpoint, the game runs extremely smoothly at a locked 60 frames per second. The visuals are sharp, colorful, and very impressive for a Nintendo Switch title, and overall, Metroid Dread is still absolutely worth playing. It's a rock-solid 2D Metroidvania and a great entry point for newcomers. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a true game changer. Together with the Metroid series, it helped give birth to the term Metroidvania, which gamers now use to describe titles like Blasphemous, The Last Faith, and the widely beloved Hollow Knight. Symphony of the Night perfected and built upon what Metroid and Super Metroid had pioneered before it. The beauty of Symphony of the Night is matched by very few other games. There's really no reason for it to look bad, yet its visuals still earn incredibly high praise even today. At a time when the industry was rapidly shifting toward 3D games, developing a 2D title might have seemed a bit unusual. However, Koji Igarashi deliberately chose to stick with 2D because he genuinely loved the style. And honestly, there wasn't a compelling reason to force a switch to 3D back then. In fact, with the newer technology available at the time, the development team could push 2D presentation even further, polishing and maximizing it to an impressive degree. And yes, Symphony of the Night is deeply respected and considered a must-play title by gamers all over the world. There's a very strong reason why its legendary reputation has endured for so long. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is a labor of love from Koji Igarashi, the creator of the classic Castlevania Metroidvania games. From its music to its gameplay, the game feels like a spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night. In this game, you play as Miriam, a shardbinder, exploring a castle full of secrets and facing Giebel, who is summoning demons. The story is fairly standard and closely mirrors Symphony of the Night, but Iga's focus remains firmly on gameplay. Exploring the castle, battling bosses, and experimenting with a variety of weapons is immensely satisfying. What truly stands out is the sheer amount of content. The castle is packed with secrets, doors that only open once you acquire specific items, and classic locations like the Alchemy Lab and Cathedral. The exciting combat, diverse weapon systems, and massive castle make the game well worth playing for fans of Metroidvania. While it may not be the best starting point for newcomers to the genre, it's an exceptional continuation of Koji Igarashi's signature design style. Blasphemous 2. This one is a must-play Metroidvania game. It's exciting, challenging, and packed with satisfying exploration. In Blasphemous 2, there are 2 endings that can be reached within a single save file, giving players more flexibility compared to the first game. So, is Blasphemous 2 better than the original? In terms of gameplay and combat, the answer is yes. Combat is more engaging, the progression system is more refined, and the platforming is more creative. While the Penitent one may have lost the mea culpa, he is far stronger in the sequel. There are 3 new weapons, each with unique attributes like elemental affinities or special abilities that let you exploit enemy weaknesses. Weapons can also be swapped on the fly, making combat more dynamic. The platforming and new movement abilities are equally enjoyable. The game introduces wall jumps, double jumps, air dashes, and creative combinations of weapons and abilities to reach hidden areas. Overall, Blasphemous 2 really proves itself. The upgraded graphics, fresh premise, cutscenes, and art style all feel new and distinct from the first game. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown brings the franchise into the Metroidvania genre, and it surprised me. Why was it surprising? Because for over 20 years, the Metroidvania genre has been dominated mainly by indie games, with only a few major publishers like Microsoft, Konami, and Nintendo paying it much attention. Combat in Lost Crown is smooth as butter and easy to pick up. The basics are simple. There's a 3-hit combo both on the ground and in the air, and you'll eventually get a bow for long-range attacks. When it comes to defense, Sargon is incredibly agile. He can dash, slide, jump, and parry. The parry window is generous enough that even someone as slow as me could pull it off most of the time. You can parry melee weapons, projectiles, giant monsters, and even godly wolves. Only red attacks are unparryable and must be dodged. Sargon can also pull off Devil May Cry style maneuvers, launching enemies into the air and following up with quick combos. It's incredibly fun and satisfying when you pull it off. Whether you're a seasoned Metroidvania fan or a complete newcomer, you'll enjoy this game. Ender Lilies Quietus of the Knights is my favorite Metroidvania. Of course, there are some people in the Metroidvania community who just can't accept that someone might prefer Ender Lilies over Ender Magnolia, and honestly, that's totally fine. Both games are great, but for me, Ender Lilies just left a stronger impression. You play as Lily, a young priestess in a kingdom struck by a curse. Her mission is to cleanse corrupted souls and restore hope to the land. The combat system is unique and strategic. Lily doesn't fight directly. Instead, she summons spirits of the deceased to battle alongside her. There are 26 different spirits, each with its own abilities. You can equip up to 6 spirits at a time, and the combinations create combat that never feels repetitive. Beyond that, the hand-drawn visuals and soundtrack, created by the Japanese indie band Millie, deliver a beautifully dark atmosphere. The music is ethereal, emotional, and perfectly matches the themes of sorrow, resilience, and hope. And yes, the narrative of Ender Lilies is among the best. Through boss flashbacks, environmental storytelling, and item lore, the game explores themes of redemption, sacrifice, hope, loneliness, and humanity. Nine Souls is a 2D sci-fi Metroidvania that hits so hard, it should have been Game of the Year in 2024. This isn't just another Metroidvania, it's parry heaven. You're blocking, countering, and hitting back with precision that feels insanely satisfying once you get it down. Miss a parry, yeah, you'll feel it, nail it, pure gamer bliss. But it's not just combat, there's platforming, puzzles, hidden areas. You're constantly exploring, constantly discovering. Red Candle Games somehow nailed Sekiro-style parrying in a 2D world. That's no joke. If you're not down for parrying, be ready to get schooled, and fast. Dodge can save you for a moment, but the game's first boss will straight up force you to level up your skills. And the story? It's actually good, full of intrigue, humor, and creepy vibes that give a nice nod to the studio's horror roots. It's the perfect mix of intense combat and world building, so yeah, if you're a gamer who loves tight, rewarding combat and clever exploration, you cannot miss this game. Eight years after Hollow Knight, Team Cherry is back with Silksong, and the answer is yes, it's totally worth it. The anticipation for the sequel had built nearly unbearable hype, and Team Cherry, the small indie team from Australia, did not disappoint. This isn't just Hollow Knight 2, the new protagonist, Hornet, makes movement and combat feel faster, sharper, and incredibly satisfying. It's clear Team Cherry used all 7 years to craft one of the best Metroidvania experiences out there. Silksong also introduces crests, a kind of class or skill loadout, letting players customize attacks, abilities, and healing powers. The world of Farloom feels alive and interactive, enemies interact with each other, and the environment is more than just a backdrop. Platforming is more thrilling and challenging than ever. The difficulty may be a bit high for some, but for players who enjoy learning through failure, Silksong offers one of the most unique gaming experiences today. Of course, Team Cherry shows remarkable integrity, delivering 50+ hours of gameplay for just $20. And yeah, if there were a game that combined the combat of Nine Souls with the world and flow of Silksong, it could easily become the ultimate Metroidvania, maybe even surpassing Silksong. What do you think? And that's it for today. Those were lists the top 15 Metroidvania games that are absolutely worth your time. Got a hidden gem I didn't mention? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video or discovered a new title to add to your collection, feel free to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss future content. Alright then, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.